We found a perfect little tide pool here that's got nearly every type of seaweed imaginable. We'll start with the biggest, the bull kelp, with these big floating nematocysts and dark brown blobs. These are the blades that are going to do the photosynthesis. They have this really long stipe, which often gets tangled up in the surf. So you can see kind of braided stems. And if we look out into the bay, into deeper water, there's a lot of bull kelp here. It actually forms an entire forest, which helps protect the shore from wave action and provides just a ton of food for things like the sea urchins to nibble and munch on. There's also lots of other kelps that are here. We have this feather boa kelp, a very aptly named feathery-like kelp that also has nematocysts, these gas-filled bladders that keep it floating up in the photic zone. That's a really great adaptation for these kind of larger kelp species. The shorter understory kelps don't have those, and so they must remain underneath and only really get exposed when the water level drops during the low tide. We have some heavily textured seersucker kelp. That's one of my most favorite species because it just looks so beautiful when it's backlit in the sun. And then higher up we have some cabbage, sea cabbage or cabbage kelp. This grows a lot higher in the intertidal zone. It doesn't have much of a stipe or a way to extend itself up from the rock, so it pretty much just grows directly on it. And then lastly, it's not a true kelp, but there is a little bit of acid kelp here. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. This kind of flattened blade brown algae over here. It's not in the same order as all the other species. Oh, there's also some laminaria. So these big flat blades that have sort of an arching stipe that suspends them up into the sunlight. So those are all the brown algae. And then there's a ton of fantastic red seaweeds here as well. Everything from this iridescent kelp, which looks stunning when it's in the water and catches the light just right. There's some heavily textured Turkish towel. There's some of this caliphyllis, beautiful leaf, that's what it's called. There's some filamentous red pepper dulse. There's some cryptopleura as well. And I know I'm just saying a bunch of Latin names, but a lot of these don't have great common names. So this is the way that we've learned them. Up higher on the rocks, you can start to see some of the green seaweeds. And I did see some green rope algae and some codium. But for the most part, the green that we're going to be seeing is the only true plant in this habitat, and this is surfgrass. This is scour surfgrass, and it really loves to be in these very wave-swept areas. It's looking pretty good right now in the season, but sometimes the ones higher up are going to start to bleach and turn this kind of gray color and die off. That's totally fine for this. It's a grass, so just like the grass you have in your lawn, you can cut the tops off or the tops can die and be damaged and the plant will continue to grow. Tons and tons and tons of variety of producers here, and that's going to contribute very heavily to the biodiversity of the animals that are going to be able to survive in this because of this incredible food source and shelter.